here. Okay. So I was going to read again the number bet here, but I decided that I didn't understand it the second time or the third time either, so just too much missing, I think. But let's try one more time. Bir Naisif Isib or Yakar, he says Sham the Fidarko La'el. So he says, like he said up above. He says, so we're talking about this is the same subject as we had when we were dealing with Yud Kay Vav Yud. Shehu Sod Yichud Teferis and Malchus Ein Sham. So this is a common theme now. V'lezecha v'bir kan v'perish hasheni. The Heilish Teferis and Malchus Nishkul D'Chubet Mishkul Echad. There has to be some. Okay, so anyway, so that means that they become one. I think that's what it means. Vizel Deshalom o after, perhaps this is what is right, is way to say it. Yaksa the Indian, the code, and go back to what we said originally. El Matthias Ishtal Shlos, so the Tiferes Vav Vahamalchus, which is Yud. That is how they develop. So he says Shoshinech near Malzim Yachad, because both of them, that is the development, I guess, are referenced together. So this concept of Yud K and then Yud. So he says, well, there's no Vav in that, so let's see how that works. So he says, excuse me, I'm sorry. He said, so Yehi or. Where are we? Or Vayehi Kadifrishna. So we had that idea. One is male, the development of the male, development of the female. I think maybe that's part of it. I'm not sure. It has to do with the way they're measured. Teferis and Malchus, those two. Sham Lamala up there in Medida Achas and Mishkal Echot. That's very mysterious. Is that in the I guess he means in the higher worlds, so what the Tzilos? You have one Medida. They wear the same when they start out, or they're the same. What would we say that in a certain sense, in the embryonic sense, that the nook is like a Basil Labar? I'm not sure what he's trying to tell me here. But the Kachnim, Sahim Sham, Besod Yehi, or Yaakov, I don't know, he has it both. And then you have like this, Kedifrishna, Vizerav Iker Adkan. So there's a lot missing there for me, and moving right along. So it says the number Gimel says that the Pirish of the Marie Sarok, we already went through that, not bringing it here again. Okay, always like that, but it's not here anymore. Number Dal, Reva Pirish Talmud. He says Shabir Khan. What does he want to say? He said the Shchinta Lutata, that phrase. But Sola Lusha Malchus Bechina the Kuda. The Malchus is originally a Bechina Vadat. The matam and the yisod, which is down below yisod, besod os yud, and at that point it's a yud. So if you're doing Yud Kay Vav Yud, then you're talking about this beginning stage, I think. So now explain it further here and explains like this. So what does that mean? So this is a phrase we're getting it over and over and over again. Ratzon Lomar, Masha Shemachan Hey Yud B'Shem Malchus, Hayud. I guess maybe it's Hayud or B'Shem Malchus, or is it Hey and the Yud? I don't know. So what we're using that letter to refer to Malchus. Who owes Hey Mamish? It's as if it's Mamish and owes Hey. But the difference is between the Hey and the Yud. Hey. At that time, she becomes like a house to Zeranpet. That's my explanation. So it becomes like a Hey. Besod Adam and this is a little tricky here. Not Besod Adam, which is the secret of man. The two of them coming together, which I think is explained a little bit better. Dachar, he says the male, the male the nukva, ubesod morid hatal, and it's also part of this secret called morid hatal, which is a gematria of 39. Shall shefa yichud. That's what's actually coming in. The shefa that's pouring into the yichud is this tal. Ki tal gematria yud vav dalake aleph vav, which is a representation of the first three of Zer Anpin, the Chavram, the Hay, to join them together with the Hay. So let's see, there's a little bit more. There's a footnote down here at the bottom. Let me see if I could get it on my screen. I don't know. Let's see. Okay. And also, can I see it? So it's a Rebbe Zohar, number Tes Zion. Look in the Zohar, he says it's a Zohar in Bereshis. Zel Lashon Dechsiv Ki Yihya Naira Besula. You have a situation where you have a Naira Besula, a virgin young lady. Nair Kasiv, but it's not written. It's not written Naira. It's pronounced like the Kasiv below Hey. So they're actually written as well at the Hey, but it's pronounced like with that. There's a Hey there. My timer. What's the reason? Begin to lo yischaveret b'dechura. The reason why is because there's no yichud. She's not joined together with the male. When she's not joined together with the male, she's not a complete Hey. Okay, so that was actually the explanation that he gave over there. He says that Hay appears at the time of Yichud. Umakol Azar the lo ishtat kol. Okay, I'm going to hold there for a second. We always get these interruptions. Coming back again. Okay, back again. So then he said, anytime you see the situation where they're not together. Now he has this word os kind of in brackets. He says the os hey lo ishtakach. So therefore you wouldn't find, if they're not together, you don't find the letter hey, you just find the letter, I guess, the dot, which is the yud. The salko b'taman, and it goes up from. I'm not sure salko what he means, and it. I think salko here means the count, as I'm going to see in the next part. The salko b'taman. I don't know what the rest of the quote is. Ad kan va'ayin sham mamasha hiskir kan adam reba harachabor. So now he's going to explain the concept of adam. Let me bring this down just a little bit more. Okay, and he says now we say Reir Bezoar. This is a parsha in Parshas Pinchas. V'zal Lashonu Kutra Berichu V'Shkinte Iskri Adam. So the two of them together, that's what's called Adam. So the Ihu Amuda de Emseisa, which is now it's very interesting. He says that Adam, that is Zeranpin, is the middle line, and Zeranpin is Tal. It's 39. Vishkinta is the Hay. So he says, Uvahay Ihu Adam. And if you add the Hay on there, and he's spelling out the Hay Aleph, like this, it's the Hay Aleph, which I guess is the match of Zeranpen. Ihu Adam, it makes Adam. So how is it? You got 39 in Tal, and then you have the Hay Aleph is 6, it makes 45. It's a gematria of Adam. That's when it's an Adam. He said, begin the Tal, because that's how you count up Tal. Tal comes to the gematria of like this, Yud Vav Dalake Aleph Vav Aleph Vav, which is 39. Vaha Aleph, so then he said, Vahe Aleph, Ihu Morid Hatal. So the Hey Aleph is that bringing it down, or I guess maybe means Vahai Ihu Morid Hatal, I'm not sure which one yet. So I guess it's Vahai, yeah. Vahai Ihu Morid Hatal. Legabe Hay. So bring it down, is bringing the Tal to the Hay, and there you got it. That makes 45. Kucha Barich V'Shkinte. Dahaina zer v'nukve nekroim yachad adam. Dahaina zer anpin hu tal v'shchina he os hey. Okay, no problem there. V'ayedecha v'os hey, but you have to spell it like this, hey aleph. The Shechina oz nikra zer anpin b'shem Adam, because then it's a gematria 45, which is Adam. That's when he's an Adam. But before that, this is maybe an explanation that would fit into a lot of other things, because before that they're separate. And that seemed to be what the Rashba was saying. He said nikra zah b'shem Adam, the umavar ki tal who communion Yud Kay Vav, okay, like that, spelled like that. Paroma is the Zer Anpin, which is really the essence of Zer Anpin, but so Tau, the height of the fish is Zer Anpin, Mori the Tau. He's the one that brings the 39. So he said, Shal Shefach HaYichud El Shchina HaNikras Hey Aleph, which is called Hey Aleph. So he is the Yud Vav Dalad, K Aleph Vav Aleph Vav, and then she is the final K Aleph. Oz Nishlam, and what that does is that makes a shlomo to this. Of Oz Nishlam Shem Chavaya Yud Kay Vav Kay Ha'ola Comedian Adam Adkan. Nice little board there to try to show us how the separate parts, according to this, is what Rashbi is talking about that a bit. Now we're going to come on to one of our favorites of all times. Here is the Afashah coming onto our stage here at the Tikkun Elevator Kola. He says, B'Yafashah Bir the Fidarko. So the Afashah is explaining according as he's going along. The Ira B'Hamshachas base Tipos Mayim Dechurim Umayim Nokvi. So he says, which we're still working on, the concept. We have a yud at the end, Ubachad Maskala is Kala. That's where we're right now on that, with the equivalence of the Yud and the K. The Bebir Khan Od the Shnei Tipos Elunim Shachim the Mazala Elya the Nikra Maskal Zalashana. So now we're getting into a different realm. Here he says that the two tipos of the Mayim Duchrin and the Mayim Nukvin are all coming down. They're coming down together. So he says that they're really coming from the same place, which is called Maskala. Now, how does that work? Ubachad Maskala is Kalo. So now he says that the concept of the Maskala refers to something has to do with the Hamshacha. So he says from the Mazel Elyon, and that's its name. Ubachad Maskala is Kalo. That phrase, they balance out on one balance scale. Pirush ki shneichem bein tipas mayim duchurin, where we're talking about the male water, and the shachas the tzorach zer anpen, which is now coming down for the purpose of bringing the shefa into zer anpen, ayide abba, and it goes through abba to zer anpen. That is this mayim duchrin. Bein tipas mayim nokvin. Then there's another tipa that's also going on. Shachas the dukva ayide be'ima. So he says Tikkun Aches. Now that I wouldn't have said that because I thought it was Tikkun Aches and Tikkun Yud Gimel, but he says that both of them come out of this Tikkun Aches. So he said the Diknach the Erik Anpen Nimshko. So that's when Nimshko. Ela Shemayim Dechurin Dezer Anpen Koyu Besod Shem Basad. Amayim Nukvin the Nukva Haim Besod Mispar Pay Base. Now, it seems to me maybe I saw this sometime, but I don't think so. So he says, but you have to take the Nukva and you have to look at her as the secret of the number 82. So how did that happen? So first of all, let's understand, I don't know why he put Av and Sag together. I don't know exactly how you put them together, but what he means, he said, once again, he says that the Mayim Nukvin comes through the top two names, Av and Sag. Then he says something else, Mayim Nukvin, the Nukva, Heim Besod Mizbar Pei Base, and how do you get to that number? Kamosha Kasach of the Beino of the Eitz Chaim, like we have in the Eitz Chaim, this is in Shar Lamatas, so we must have seen this. So he said, Shatipas Mayim Nukvin, he said, he so Dalad Yudin the Av. Okay, so there are 5 Yudim in the Adar. So he says the Mayim Duchre, excuse me, I read it wrong. Shatibas Mayim Nukvim Hu Besod Yud Dalad Yudin the Av. Now the connection there, I don't see how that works, but because I always think that Yud is masculine. But he says this is what Shatibas Yom Mayim Nukvin He Besod Dalad Yudin the Av. To take those 4 Yudin, it's number 40, and Shehem Mamatria Man. Pashut Umale, and then you also could take the concept of the Pashut and the Male, and you get the number 42, the Shem Ab, Shahum Mab the Ab. So now you have, this is what you have now. I'm not sure that I can really appreciate this as well as I think is intended. He says now you have 42, which is the power of moving upwards. Yeah, and the power of moving up in the Nukva, going to Mayim Nukvin, and it's coming from Av. Hare Mem Im Mem Bav comes to the concept of Pei Beis. So to be able to really understand this first, I'd have to understand how it is that these 4 Yudin work in this. So what's to take the Milui, the Yudin, and the Milui of Av? And he also mentioned earlier that it's made out of, just read up above, it says, Ela Shemayim Dechurim Dezer Anpen Ein Besod Shem Av and Sag. And then he says the Mayim Nukvin, the Nukva, Ein Besod Misbar Apab. So he says, which is a combination of 4 Yuds that come out of the Milui of Avaya. And also the extension of the Pashut, the Male, and the Male, or the Milui, which is 42, and you put those together, and that's the nature, I guess, the power of the Yudin. I just make it up myself. Power of the Yudin combined with this 42 is the power of moving upwards, of going upwards. So this is also coming down. Okay, so anyway, that's the best I can make out of that. And then comes over like this. Nimsa shtei tipos. So then it comes out like this: the 2 tipos, shamayim dechurim and mayim nokvin, nimshachim and mazel the elyon. They come from the upper mazel. Now he said it was mazel number 8. So the davar heich mazel the elyon ikre maskala. So the question is how is it called maskal? So he said Gavar Amra b'divrei Rebbeinu Zal be'etz Chaim. He says in Shar Lamed Tes, over that Shar Lamed Tes is loaded, I guess. Shemazel the Elyon who b'chedesh shar what the shartal. Well, the Shemazel the Elyon who b'chedesh das. Das is the masculine, he says. But das nikra meshkal. It's called the scale, masculine. He who has sheichel b'chedesh atipa. So this is what really balances this aspect of the tipa. A love. Let me just read it. You put the tipa on it. He says, a love. Mina chochma im kala. He a kaveda. So in other words, you put it. I have to read it again. Shekasa kaveda rizal ba'orech b'sefer ma'b'sharim. So let me read it again. He who has shoycha b'chinas tipa love. So he balances the aspect of the tipa on him. I'm a little thrown because didn't say tipos, it said tipa. I love mina chochma. He im kala. So from chochma. So he said the tipa that's coming from chochma. So it's a tipa. Im kala o kaveda, if it's heavy or if it's light. Moshe Passer Rebbeinu Rizal. So we have all of that. That's what it does. So it says it balances them out. So you have the exact portions of both of them, according to this parish, of both of them coming down together. That's all I got today. And I wish you a wonderful Shabbos. All the best.